it's me, Michelle, and I made it back from England, and I'm finally going to show you guys my Harry Potter vlog, and it's going to be in 3 parts. And the first part is the Muggle Walking Tour, which I did the second day of my trip, and the second part is King's Cross - platform 9 3/4 in the shop there, which I did in the middle of my trip. And the last part is the Warner Brothers Harry Potter studio tour, which I did at the very end of my trip. Harry Potter thing that I did in London was the Muggle Walking Tour. I would highly recommend it, and I'm also really glad that I did this at the beginning of my trip versus the end, as it really helped me get oriented and show me around London. So not only was I seeing these really cool Harry Potter sites, but I was also getting my bearings a little bit. So the first place that she took us was right outside of Borough Market, and she showed us the storefront that was the front of the Leaky Cauldron in Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. And she had this really cool book where she had the photo from the movie, and then you could like look at the photo from the movie and the place where it was actually shot. Tour guide also had a really cool story about the bridge that was in that last shot. So the night bus, which appears in the 3rd Harry Potter movie, was actually too tall to go under that bridge, and to get to the Leaky Cauldron it needed to go under that bridge. So actually in the middle of the night the filming crew had to take the top off the bus, because what it was essentially was 2 double-decker buses stacked on top of each other. So they had to real quick take off the top, drive under, put the top back on, film the rest, and to get it back out they had to take the top back off and then drive it out and put the top back on again. So it took them a very long time to film this scene. The next place that we visited wasn't an actual filming location, but it was something that inspired J.K. Rowling when she was writing Harry Potter. So we visited the Clink prison, which was an inspiration for Azkaban along with Alcatraz. So the Clink prison is one of the oldest prisons in England, and when you went in there you never came out. So it was rumored it was cursed. And it was also one of the first prisons that had co-ed prisoners, which was a huge deal at that time. So also looking at the clip, you can see that there's a skeleton hanging in what's called a gibbet, and from that J.K. Rowling derived the Hand of Glory, which appears in the 2nd Harry Potter movie. And it was rumored that if you took this hand and you lit up the finger, then it would give light only to you, the holder, and you would be invisible to everyone else. Clip, there's a whole bunch of bridges, and you probably can't see all of them because some of them are way off in the distance. But the first bridge that's the farthest is the Millennium Bridge, which was in my first London vlog, so you could see it there. But it's that one that was really wobbly and twisted looking. So that bridge is in the 5th Harry Potter movie, and they all fly under the bridge when they're going to Grimmauld Place. Then the next bridge is the Green Bridge, and then the bridge after that one is the Southwark Bridge, which is the bridge that the night bus has to squeeze in between 2 other double-decker buses on that bridge, and that happened with some CGI magic. And then you can also kind of see the London Bridge, and then the final bridge off in the distance is the Tower Bridge, which I know was in my first London vlog because you can see it from London Bridge. Was another J.K. Rowling inspired location, and this is a ship called the Golden Hind, which Sir Francis Drake owned and used to steal money from the Spanish for Queen Elizabeth I. And J.K. Rowling actually really liked the story of Sir Francis Drake, so she based the Drumstrang ship from Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire on this ship. And then Sir Francis Drake's nickname was also El Draco, which is where she got the name Draco Malfoy. Then we went on a short tube ride to the Westminster Tube Station, and I was pretty psyched about this because I really remember this scene. But it's in Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, and it's when Harry is traveling to his hearing at the Ministry of Magic, and they have to take the tube, and Mr. Weasley has no idea how to use his Oyster card. So we got to walk up that staircase that he goes up and go through the barrier that Mr. Weasley goes through. Next we went to Whitehall and 10 Downing Street, which is where they filmed part of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1, and this is the part where Harry, Ron, and Hermione are taking the Polyjuice potion to sneak into the Ministry of Magic. They also use the same location in Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. After Mr. Weasley and Harry get off the tube, they stand in a telephone booth that is at this location in order to get into the Ministry of Magic. The last two locations are J.K. Rowling inspired locations, but they're definitely the coolest part. So the first location is what inspired Nocturne Alley, and if you look at the windows, you can see the curved window and the signs and how that really inspired Nocturne Alley in the movie. From that, you have Diagon Alley, which is what inspired her for the books, and they rebuilt the set for the Warner Brothers movies. My sister just got home and she insists on being in the background of this shot, so
I insist.
There she is. But anyways, I would definitely recommend going on the Muggle Walking Tour, and don't worry because I didn't spoil all the things that they tell you. They have a lot more of the inside scoop on the Harry Potter movies. Then towards the middle of my trip, I went to King's Cross Station. Platform 9 3/4. And I did get the iconic picture with the cart. I'm not hydrated. Well, then why don't you go get some?
They do.
Stop. And then I went into the Platform 9 3/4 shop, and that was definitely the best shop to get Harry Potter merchandise out of the three that I went to. The other two being the Harry Potter Primark and the Harry Potter Warner Brothers Studio Tour, the shop at the end of that. And it is a lot more expensive than the Primark, obviously, but the Warner Brothers Studio Tour, it was even more expensive than that, and the quality was just a lot worse. And I also found that that shop had the best quality wands out of all the ones I've seen at the studio tours and in the Universal in Florida. Thing that I did was the Warner Brothers Harry Potter Studio Tour, which I was super excited about, but I ended up being pretty disappointed. I don't know, I still think it was worth going, and because I'm such a huge fan, I definitely needed to go once, but it just wasn't what I expected. I knew that it wouldn't be like Universal Studios and it would be the set and what they used in the filming, but they had a lot less than I expected. And then also I found that on a lot of the placards and the information around, I already knew all of that information about the films, so there wasn't really anything new to learn, and it was cool to see the stuff, but I'd already knew about it. And it only took me an hour to go through, and I took the bus there. There was a bus that had a to and return trip, and they gave us 3 hours, and you definitely do not need 3 hours to see the whole thing. So before you even enter, they have the iconic cupboard under the stairs where Harry Potter lived in Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. And then they start out big and they take you into the Great Hall set, which was cool because I'd seen when they were still using an on-site location in Oxford and the one that they rebuilt, and they actually looked very similar.
This is the one and only Great Hall of Hogwarts. It was one of the first sets ever constructed for the Harry Potter film series, and as you can probably tell as you make your way in, it was also one of the largest. It stood for over 10 years over on Soundstage B, just to your left on the working studio side, before it was brought here.
And they had a special Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire exhibit going on, which is my favorite film, so I kind of lucked out. And they had the Goblet of Fire there, and they did a little special effects thing and had the name come out of the Goblet of Fire.
Okay, everyone. As the Goblet is decided who our champion is going to be, the Snow runs through. Once it's made a choice, the Snow goes red and get ready to catch. Oh, if someone would like to pick that up, if you unwrap it for us and tell us who our Triwizard champion is. Cedric Diggory, our official Hogwarts champion.
And they also had all the costumes from the Yule Ball on display. The portraits and the moving staircase. The faucets from the prefect's bathroom. The Gryffindor's boys' dormitories. All of the wands that the characters use. The Mirror of Erised from Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, and the portrait of the fat lady that guards the Gryffindor common room. And then keeping with the Goblet of Fire theme, they had the costumes and the setup from the first task. And they had the Gryffindor common room set up. The clock that they use in a lot of transition scenes. Dumbledore's office. The potions classroom where they had Professor Slughorn and Severus Snape's costumes. The various Quidditch robes and brooms, and they also had a little setup where you could take a picture on a broomstick. The doors to the Chamber of Secrets that Harry Potter opens with Parseltongue in the Chamber of Secrets. Remus Lupin's case, and the case that Batty Crouch Jr. disguised as Mad-Eye Moody keeps the real Mad-Eye Moody in during Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. The Weasley's home, better known as the Burrow. The grave of Voldemort, or Tom Riddle's father, where Voldemort transports Harry and Harry Potter in the Goblet of Fire. They have the table set up from the Death Eater meeting in the beginning of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1, where they torture the one Muggle. Then they had various sets from the Ministry of Magic from various movies. office and costume. And then they had a really cool Forbidden Forest setup, but I only filmed the entrance because it was way too dark in there for any footage to show up. And then they had a lot of the bigger moving parts, such as the Fort Angelica from Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. They also had a moving Buckbeak model in the Forbidden Forest. And they had set up their own King's Cross station with the Hogwarts Express, and you can go in the Hogwarts Express and see different compartments that are set up for different years. This was probably the coolest setup that they did, but at the end of the train, they had on the left side the setup when Harry's first on the Hogwarts Express, and then on the right side, the scene from the 7th book at the very end in the epilogue, where their last scene with the Hogwarts Express. Into the outdoor portion of the tour, which was definitely a lot better because it was easier to get photos with the natural lighting. Inside they had all kinds of weird lighting, so you couldn't really get good pictures, but I was disappointed because the outside portion was so small. But the first thing that I saw was the night bus, which was really cool to see. They had the iconic number 4 pivot drive set that you see everyone have their pictures with. Things were the bridge from Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, where Hermione and Harry have that dialogue, and then Cedric comes up and tells Harry how to open the egg and understand the clue, and the Potter's house. And the next room was just full of different masks for different creatures and how they did some of the different moving animated stuff, and they also had Aragog, the huge spider from Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Diagon Alley, but honestly it looks exactly the same as the one in Universal, and the one in Universal is way cooler because it's interactive and they have the shops and you can feel like you're actually in Harry Potter. This one you just kind of go in and you see it, and the lighting's so weird you can't even get a good picture. And then the final room of the tour is the Hogwarts Castle that was totally reconstructed for all of those outside shots that you see in the movie. Towards the end, in the room where they have all the names of everyone who worked on the Harry Potter film, they also had the Triwizard Cup, the actual Triwizard Cup, and I think that was just there for the special Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire exhibit. Cool to see all of that stuff, and I'm glad that I did it once at least, but I was really disappointed for how expensive it was, how little you actually get to see, and how little information they're giving you. You can get an audio guide, which I actually didn't get because I didn't think I'd have time, but I would have had plenty of time, so maybe if I had that it would have been a little bit better. But honestly, if you're not a huge Harry Potter fan, maybe just skip the studio tours, especially if you're in London such a short time. Just do the Muggle Walking Tour. You're gonna get a lot more out of that for what what it is. So I hope that you guys liked the special Harry Potter vlog. I'm sorry that it took so long to come out. I am gonna go back down to once a week and only post on Wednesdays. So make sure that you like and subscribe, and next Wednesday I will be doing the farewell video from Oxford. I know it's a little late in coming, but I haven't had time to edit that yet. So hopefully I'll see you next week. Bye bye.